Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Dowd. I'm the Public Information Officer with the Ventura County Fire Department, and I'd like to start by providing you some quick information about the mountain fire. The mountain fire is currently at 20,630 acres and 41% containment. There are 2,812 personnel currently actively engaged in fighting this fire. The Ventura County Fire Department continues to be in unified command with the Ventura County Sheriff's Office and California Incident Management Team 5. Currently, we have identified 192 structures that have been destroyed and 82 that have been damaged by this wildfire. Tonight, we'll hear from our damage inspection specialist about the progress that his team is making, as well as from our agricultural commissioner, Corinne Bell, about impacts of the mountain fire on our agricultural resources. Yesterday, we held a community meeting at Fire Station 54 in Camarillo, and we are so grateful for all of the members of the community who came and spoke with us. Another community meeting is being held this Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. at Rancho Campana High School in Camarillo, where Ventura County and Camarillo City representatives will provide information about recovery efforts, recovery programs, and support. A quick note on the format of our press conference. Each of the speakers will come to the podium to give a statement and be introducing themselves. At the end, I'd like you to hold questions, and at the end, we'll bring the entire panel up to address any questions that you have. So we'll start with a briefing from our Operations Section Chief, Nick Cleary.
All right, good evening, Nick Cleary. I'm a battalion chief for the Ventura County Fire, working as day operations with my CAL FIRE Team 5 partner, Clint Swenson. So we'll start out in the Camarillo Heights Estates area. There was no growth in the perimeter. It was a very successful day using the favorable weather. So crews really got systematic gridding. And so basically what that means is 5 to 10 feet apart, we had firefighters and hand crews walking through barrancas, orchards, making sure there was no hot spots. All that was aided by UAS, which is our incident drones. Those drones have infrared technology, and so they're able to get the heat sources with GPS coordinates so we can get firefighters directly over there. We also assisted residents as they were coming back into their impacted houses. And I want to remind you that any firefighters out there, doesn't matter what color their engine, they're an extension of us. So if you see them and you need help with anything, please reach out to those firefighters. That's what they're there for. You are now their community. As we get into the Somas and the South Mountainside, no growth in the perimeter. Again, the systematic approach of gridding all those orchards and in between houses. The few smokes we had were mulch piles on the south side of the fire over Bradley and Stockton, and then a mulch pile over by the Todd Road Jail. Currently, we are engaging in getting better water handling devices, more tanks. We have water tenders and dozers engaged with sprinkler systems trying to mitigate that mulch. It's kind of like a 5-step approach to mix that mulch up, get the heat out, re-wet it, and then keep mixing it up. But you will see smoke in those areas of Stockton and Bradley and south of Todd Road for probably the next 5 days. The utility companies, we're assisting utility companies, so now they're getting in there either securing the utilities so folks can get into their damaged homes and kind of see the damage, or also assisting the utility companies with reinstalling your power and your gas. We also talked a little bit with the liaison shop today. It's kind of important. We missed our trash day, so we're trying to work with the liaison shop to actually get E.J. Harrison, the local trash company, back in there to kind of get your trash emptied if it's safe for them. So we're working with the liaison shop, and hopefully tomorrow, since today was a holiday, you'll start seeing some trash service if you missed it. Fire suppression repair, this is a big one. So all the lines we put in, dozer line, hand line, road is line, we had direct line and we had indirect line. Currently, we have documented 17 miles of dozer line that needs repair. 9 miles of mixed line, which means that's hand line and dozer line. And then 17 miles of road is line, which means that's ranch roads, fire roads. So currently we have a branch established to kind of mitigate all that problem, put water bars in, prepare those lines for any precipitation we're going to get this winter. And then the last thing, with this predicted wind event coming on, we have resources identified in all branches for any initial attack should something break outside of the fire perimeter currently. I thank you guys for all your participation. Hope you have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. My name is Ryan Walbrin, and I'm the incident meteorologist for the mountain fire with the with the National Weather Service. So just want to give a kind of a brief weather update. we just heard about the predicted wind event. So right now today we have this dry cold front that's moving through the region. You can see an increase in clouds, and most importantly, humidity values are up significantly. Readings on the humidity over the fire roughly 70 to 80%. That is by far the most moist that it's been since the fire started last Wednesday. So we're seeing the good humidity recovery that helps with the fuel moistures to prevent any further fire spread. What will happen then as we head into the overnight hours is we expect the northerly winds to continue to increase roughly to 35 miles an hour or so up on the top of South Mountain there. Could see some gusts to 45 as we poke towards sunrise tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning. These again will coincide with high humidity values, so we're not getting a good alignment. Well, actually in this situation it's favorable that we have high humidity with the winds. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, as the sun comes up, the winds will switch to more of a north-northeast direction. They come down the I-5 corridor and will kind of fan out over the plains of Ventura County there. At that point, the humidity values will start to drop significantly once again. So that's the change in the weather that we're watching. This is a good thing because we get a wind test, and it's good to get a wind test when you have 2,000 firefighters in your neighborhood. So we'll get that wind test out of the way tomorrow with the humidity values continuing to go down. As we go through the afternoon hours, the winds will continue to ease. And then as we go into Tuesday night and into Wednesday, key thing that we always watch is the humidity. Usually at night we expect those humidity values to come up, but tomorrow night they will stay dry again. So that leads us into Wednesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we have very low humidity and some winds out there. Again, this is not a red flag event, and it's not anything close to when the fire started. So I'd look at this wind test as a good thing to test the containment lines for kind of a good test on the fire. Beyond that, there's high confidence that we get another cool trough similar to what we're seeing today. That would occur on Friday and Saturday. Right now we have roughly maybe a 10 to 20% chance of some rain showers with that. Rain amounts with that look to be very light at this time. So we're at the time of the year in November when we get changes in the weather, cooling trends, warming trends, and so the weather is changeable right now. We'll get this little test in the next 48 hours, and then the weather looks favorable as we head towards this weekend. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Gene Potke, I'm the Damage Inspection Manager for the Mountain Incident. Today we've had 14 inspection teams conducting boots-on-the-ground inspections around every structure within the fire perimeter and 300 feet outside of the fire perimeter. As of today, they have conducted 894 inspections with 620 structures showing no damage, 82 structures with damage, and 192 structures destroyed. Teams will be back out in the field tomorrow to continue their inspections. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Corinne Bell, and I'm the Ventura County Agricultural Commissioner. I'd like to start out by offering our heartfelt condolences to all of the Ventura County residents who've lost property in agriculture. Agriculture is extremely important to our county. We rank number 10 in the state. A lot of people think Ventura County is an urban county. We're actually equally ag, equally urban. So this fire kind of demonstrates that. Of the 20,000 acres that have been impacted, over half of that is in agriculture. So I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about some of the damages we're seeing. We rank number 1 in the state for avocados, and sadly avocados have been hardest hit in this in this fire so far. So we have over 500 acres of avocados that have been damaged or destroyed, equating to about over $4 million in revenue. We've lost over 130 acres of citrus at $1.3 million. We've lost nursery stock at $300,000, 10 acres of raspberries. We also rank number 1 as raspberries in the state at $620,000, and we've also lost 2,500 acres of rangeland, which is valuing over $10,000. So altogether, we're at over $6 million in damages, but we're only a quarter of the way through our survey. So we do expect that number to go up exponentially. As far as relief for agricultural operators, we encourage them to go to the USDA Farm Service Agency. There may be programs that they're eligible for relief. Contact Daisy Banda. Her phone number is 805-928-9999. 9269 extension 2, or you can email her at daisy.banda@usda.gov. Our office is also distributing N95 masks for agricultural workers, and we have over 20,000 masks available for free. So it is first come, first serve. So we encourage you to come to our Santa Paula office located at 815 East Santa Barbara Street. Our phone number there is 805-933-2926. We also have offices in Camarillo, located at 555 Airport Way, Suite E, and our phone number there is 805-388-4222. Also, we will be in coordination with the Farm Bureau and the Ventura County Coalition of Labor, Agriculture, and Business, VC CoLab. We will be conducting a series of webinars to assist agricultural operators, and these will be featuring agricultural operators that already went through this experience during the Thomas Fire, which we had several years ago. And so these operators have best management practices and lessons learned, and so we're hoping that some of that wisdom can be passed on to help the operators, the avocado, especially the avocado operators that are experiencing damages and destruction in this fire. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Captain Rob Hughes with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department. From the law enforcement side of things, progress has been made in the last 24 hours. We continue to repopulate areas and provide resources to the community members who have suffered losses. Today, several evacuation zones were lifted, and several evacuation orders were downgraded to warnings. I'd refer you to vcemergency.com for specific information as to these locations. Several areas are still under evacuation orders with road closures present. This is due to them being deemed not to be safe due to various utility hazards that are present in the area. We maintain a heavy law enforcement presence in these areas to deter any sort of looting, and as Sheriff Fryhoff had previously stated, this criminal activity will not be tolerated. Today we manned several distribution centers which provided disaster kits to affected homeowners. We also had our Sheriff's Peer Support on scene to provide their services to anyone that wanted to take advantage of them. We will continue with this tomorrow between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., and I would refer you to vcemergency.com for the specific locations of these centers. The community cooperation that we have received during this event has been nothing short of remarkable, and we appreciate everyone's understanding and assistance as we navigate our way through this incident. Again, we will continue to provide updates to the community via vcemergency.com. Once again, I would refer you there for the most up-to-date information. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Your County Fire Chief, Dustin Gardner. We're 6 days into this incident now. It seems like it's been weeks, but we're 6 days into it. With the huge ramp up we saw to 3,000 firefighters to now this dramatic ramp down into recovery. As you've heard from our speakers, the fire is looking really good. Our operations chief, our firefighters, our line commanders have been working at this thing 24/7, 24/6 since it began. I saw a number of them come into breakfast this morning, filthy dirty, ash-covered faces, ash-covered arms. They are working to button this thing up. As you heard from the National Weather Service, we have a weather event coming. We have a wind switch coming. We're going to test this. It's going to create anxiety for folks that feel that east wind again. Get ready for that. It's coming. As far as the mountain fire goes, the mountain fire we all feel comfortable is buttoned up. You may see flare-ups, you may see dust-ups, and you're going to feel a lot of ash and dust if you're downwind from this fire. So let's get ready for that. And as the National Weather Service said, it's November. We are going to have winds from the east. We're going to have winds from the west. We're probably going to have rains. We're probably going to have more winds. So as a community, we need to keep preparing and keep being diligent. Our partners from all of our regional fire agencies, CAL FIRE, fire departments around the state are all ready. They stay prepared always. So have faith in your communities that even with all the firefighters here, all your fire departments are still fully staffed and ready. Let's see. I want to recount on tomorrow's meeting. I think tomorrow's meeting is important. You heard our PIOs discussed in the beginning. It's available on vcemergency.com to find details. We're going into the recovery stage. The recovery stage is going to be long. The recovery stage is complicated, and the recovery stage takes patience. So please be patient with one another. Be patient with your neighbors. Be patient with the crews you see out in the communities, the utility workers, everybody that's out there. Everybody's trying to do a good job. So be patient, give each other grace, take care of your neighbors, and just remember, this is Ventura, and Ventura is strong, and the 805 is resilient. So stay with it, give each other forgiveness. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Now I'd like to call the entire panel up here to join me on stage, and we would be happy to answer any of your questions. I'll repeat the questions so that our audience can hear them, and then direct them to the appropriate person on our panel.
For the zones under evacuation, do you have an idea as to how many will be allowed to populate? And I understand some are already being allowed, maybe there's time.
So the question was about zones that are allowed to repopulate and the hours that that repopulation is allowed. So I'll let the sheriff's representative give some information about that.
Yeah, so we get our information from fire and work in coordination with them. So when they deem it to be such, then that's when we'll start to release things, and then we notify people via the vcemergency.com. So at this time, I don't have any definitive answer for you in regard to that specific question. It's just something that we kind of have to navigate our way through.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, do you know how many properties have been repopulated yet?
I'm sorry, could you say it again, sir?
Do you know how many properties have been repopulated now and how many are left?
Specific, like actual physical residents, I don't have an answer for you in that regard. Again, I would refer you to vcemergency.com. We'll give you the specific zones that have been open for repopulation purposes. As far as how many people have chosen to move back in there, I couldn't provide you an answer in that regard.
Thank you. Other questions?
I know Phil mentioned that most companies are working out there right now. Do you have any idea how many people are without power still?
Great question. The question is, do we know how many people are without power? Unfortunately, we don't have that information here. We don't have a representative from the utility company, so I would encourage you to reach out to them for that. Thank you. Other questions?
Yeah, you said like 41% contained.
Correct.
Am I correct? Is the black line the containment on that map?
That's correct. I think I can speak to that. The black line that you'll see on our map is containment line. The question was 41% containment. Is the black line the containment line? Yes, that is the containment line around the fire, the current containment line. Other questions?
I did have one more about your assessment.
Sure. Go ahead.
Can you tell us about how many, I don't remember the number, but you said how many properties, 894 inspected. How many do you think there are left, or what percentage of?
So the question is the number of properties that are left to be inspected?
How many properties are left to be inspected? That's a bit of a moving target. And when I say that because with the technology that is available, we utilize satellite imagery. That is, we're looking over that the fire perimeter in addition to the fire footprint. We're using artificial intelligence to basically from satellite imagery, if it looks like a square or a rectangle from space, or it's round, that is a shape that is not natural to nature. So it's an indicator that it is man-made. So initially, we were probably looking at about 2,400 potential inspections, but that number is dwindling. Because it's artificial intelligence, if you're familiar with a Connex box, the type that are on the back of a trailer, a diesel rig, well, that's a big rectangle. And we are inspecting structures and buildings. Who's been displaced? Who doesn't have a home? Whose home has suffered damage? So those will elevate those numbers. So it's a bit of a hard target to hit right now. That's why we're having that boots on the ground validation, a 360-degree walk around every building to assess for damage.
For this quick shift of things, can you talk about why you're not as concerned as opposed to last week's residents who are sticking around or not being evacuated?
Sure. why we're not as concerned about the upcoming wind shift event. Yes.
So, again, the conditions for when this fire started were totally extreme in terms of the wind, the humidity, the fuel moisture. The conditions that we're observing right now with much higher humidity and the forecast wind speeds are forecast to be significantly less than they were when this fire started. So those two factors alone, you need to get the dry conditions and the wind to line up. And right now we're getting the wind lining up with moist conditions. And then as the humidity goes down, the winds are also going to go down too. So we're not really lining everything up together. So it's not nearly as extreme as last Wednesday.
Thank you. Any other questions for our panel? All right. Thank you very much for your attendance tonight. As we said earlier, another public meeting will be held on Wednesday, November 13th at 6:30 p.m. at Rancho Campagna High School in Camarillo. We encourage all members of the public to make sure and follow vcemergency.com for the latest updates on fire information and evacuations, and to visit vcfd.org where you can connect with all of our social media. Thank you.